Welcome to Mindful Drawing. I'm Robert. I'll be your guide on this meditation practice that enters a space of mindfulness through the act of drawing. And this week we'll make a little map, a little territory that explores the relationship between convex and concave shapes. A concave shape, all facing outward, a sphere being the most perfect one, I suppose. And a convex shape is a Pac-Man of a sphere, a circle there that has an inward-facing part to it. A simple relationship, a way we've labeled things. They curve one way or the other, and when they become a solid, that way has a little bit more meaning of difference to it. Other than that, we'll kind of place them, unfold them, unravel and meander through them on the page and find a relationship that transforms between the two. I'm going to use a pen for the drawing and just work on a piece of Bristol here, but whatever you have handy, notebook, paper, pen, pencil, marker, charcoal, all will work fine. We're going to make some shapes, look at the relationship between them, see where it takes us. So go ahead and gather your supplies, establish your space, and let's draw together. Underlying thing in the shape world will be a look at convex and concave shapes. So you have something like a circle, which is always round on the outside, or profile of a raisin, which has places to go in and places to go out. And any geometric shape that follows around would be convex, and then if that geometric shape happens to have a little Pac-Man mouth, then we get concave. That'll be the extent of the grammar world that we'll play within. So you can take a little time on a warm-up sheet or back a piece of paper up in the corner somewhere just to draw a few different shapes and think about what they would fit into in terms of a shape that's fully enclosed with roughly an outward-facing surface, or if it has some form of indentation to it to give it that concavity. And our exercise might play with transforming them by overlapping some shapes or fitting them together in ways. So as you draw a few, think about how their edges might line up with each other, how they might overlap and cause one to form to the other, or vice versa. And that will be our playground as we build up a few of these in composition and dialogue with each other. I think I'll work kind of with some non-specific multi-sided shapes, some n-gons that start out with a little wrapping around and then develop into a little bit of a hybrid between each one, giving us some room in between them to play with the negative space that forms. But anything that catches your fancy, round or angular, all fine. Hand warmed up from drawing a few shapes, just looking it over, getting a sense of where you want to bring some efforts, and we might combine them a little bit along the way. But as we prepare for the exercise, taking some time to get connected to our space, if you can, in a chair, sitting or standing like I am, just move around a little bit, a little side to side, lean, or a little forward back, slide, find a nice situated place in the middle of your balance. Testing the edges is how we find that kind of nice floating soft spot somewhere in the middle where we feel comfortable. Obviously we'll move around a little as we are here for the next 25 minutes. Being focused, the body will need to adjust itself. Take a couple of filling breaths in through the nose if you can to fill up the torso, and then let it just gently leak back out again until you feel it reaching that point of vacuum or emptiness. And as you're ready, filling out again, really bringing some attention to all the points of expansion. Sipping in a little more at the top before letting it out a little bit more heavily. The leak faucet is opened up just a bit. We'll do one more there to fully expand. Forward, back, side to side. A little up and down, and then sigh it out. Everything settling into its place. As we find our instrument, like I said, pen or pencil, I think I'll do a pen. Sharp on the page and has a nice inky quality, something we can bring our attention to. And now somewhere in that open territory, the blank notebook page, a note card, a piece of Bristol paper, finding a place for that first shape. Maybe take a moment, see it a little bit in the mind, how you plan to engage with the paper. And as you're ready, mark it out. And it can be kind of anything. There's no rule between the concave and the convex. It's just a thing to notice. My first one, fully convex, fully facing outwards around. No surface can point at one of the other ones. They're all facing a new, unique direction. And we'll form a few of these. So that first one will be our starting place, and we'll follow it thematically for a little while. So whatever it was, that's where you begin. I think we'll follow a pattern of a bit kind of unfolding in the space around it, wherever it may be on the page. Unfold into the openness, use the size of the boundaries to guide the next implementation. So as you pick an edge to start from, place along there to unfold from, take a few breaths, as we'll use it as our guide to start the next shape forming. On the next inhalation, find your place to begin. And on the exhalation, let the pen or pencil start the journey of the next shape. It could be parallel or askew, bigger or smaller, but something similar, an idea to what's already there on the paper. Working our way around until the full space is formed, an inside and an outside, giving it that character of convexity. And the big breath, the big locating moment, the inhalation, the finding of an edge to unfold from, the placing of the pen guides our start, and then the breath falls into its own rhythm. So find that next place, breathe in, and begin to exhale the journey of the tool out onto the paper, noticing the space you're working into, maybe a little larger space. The shape can get a little bigger. It's a little tighter, the shape adjusts itself to be a little smaller. With three things formed, it begins to be a dialogue between them. A few more, like tiles or mosaics loosely placed, keep unfolding out into this space. The locating breath in, and the initiating exhale. Maybe as we draw a few more, noticing after that first engagement, the first exhale along the page, the subsequent relaxing into normal breathing rhythm. How many breaths do you take as you draw? One per line or edge, a continuous stream. Just observing what it is as we find that place to begin with an inhalation. And move through the exhalation, noticing when the body brings in another breath. It may or may not line up with the geometry of the shape. You may begin to line it up as noticing it starts to bring it into the forefront. Take a few more of those, bringing that deeper, noticing and placing inhalation to the foreground, then letting it unfold. As the breath moves with the pen or pencil. And if you've used up all the sides or directions, you can unfold from anywhere, any place along the chain. Chance to breathe in, find place. Breathe out as the pen moves. And then notice the ins, the outs along the way. To take a few at your own pacing, just to have some quiet, to hear that rhythm of intensification towards a moment, and release into action. We've got a good map started there of these kind of arrangements of shapes. Mine all concave, may have some concave, convex, whatever they form to, and the little spaces between them. And those spaces between form, in my case, some straight line paths, but a wiggliness from thin to thick to bifurcated to wise and openness. Little agglomerations of negative space between the solids. I think I'll take a little bit of a journey through there, kind of finding some paths of curvature, so letting the pen move a little more freely as we meander those gaps between, taking any turns that catch the eye, moving around through the territory. Just a little exploration that moves the whole body through the space you made. Sometimes opening up, sometimes passing by itself, wrapping around. Eventually, start to work your way back to the beginning if you can. It may take some time, depending on how long that travel went. We get a curve moving through. From that curve, we can begin to build little regions that cross or intersect with our shapes. Maybe interesting places where you had to maneuver tightly or take a wiggle or something. Just a nice forming around of a shape. We're going to make some new shapes. These shapes start with the wander, and then are free to move into and cut through and complete in little shorter bursts. Maybe it's like going to the store. You go somewhere through the streets and the paths, and then find a place to move inside to a little shopping or gathering, and then complete the trip back onto the road. Seeing where any of these moments happen that take from move a little bit, move into the space. You have a little fun. Maybe try out another space, test its edges, play with its openness. Cut through a corner, come back and find where you parked the bicycle or the car. Grab your stuff and move again to another. Our shape's now potentially much more complex, combining that concave and convex form is there, freer to wiggle, move. A couple of layers forming on top of each other. A little dance or playfulness, connecting moments in the drawing. And we can find these anywhere, from small little scoop through to a large connector between many pieces. We can always find more along the way, but with a few in place now, we can begin to explore their relationship between the wander and the more discrete closed box. Looking to where they intersect and transforming that initial shape into something of a hybrid. So perhaps its language, the straight lines, tries to find a way in and along path, forming a little room or relationship. Perhaps the curve comes into play on the interior. We do a little of both, but making connection between the two systems, geometry, the two languages, curve and line, concave and convex, sometimes tracing over, emphasizing the new shape all the way around. From the original. And I'll keep my language in one direction, just the straight lines coming in and forming around the interaction of the curve, shaping to make kind of a holding. And with this pattern, we can use it to, again, re-engage with the body, re-engage with the space around us, with each excursion into the shape, taking some time with each line or curve to take a breath, form it, change direction, form again. To take it a little slower and notice the production of each edge or curve with the breath. Take a few minutes in quiet just to connect your breath with your action. Use it to remap through the space. There may be many of these figures, and there's always an inside, an outside, and an outside to the inside. There's layers that we can explore here in that transformation between concave and convex. The convex always looking out, with its edges facing out, or always looking straight in towards itself. The concave, able to do a little of both, look in and out together. And we can continue on the path of wandering and shaping. Or if you want to, in the final few minutes, let the hand and the eye move a little bit differently, a little play through the space and find some opportunity for texture or shade. I'm interested in highlighting the space between things. Just a nice quick series of parallel lines, or if you have a pen or pencil handy, you can do a little shading to highlight that relationship that forms between the wandering walk and the solid shapes that form out the overall pattern. It's like to have the hand move a little differently, or see the drawing space another way for a few minutes. Some opportunity in there. Whichever way you're holding that pen or pencil, moving it on the page, keep your connection to it through observation or through some form of control or discipline, noticing how you move it, how your eyes work with your hand for potential accuracy or connection, or where that's a challenge. It doesn't have to be perfect. We are noticing where things happen and how we feel about them or engage with them. Smaller movements may bring some speed, but maybe they also bring with them a little bit of tension, trying to stay tight inside the line, stay close, stay consistent. If you notice some of that, recognize it, breathe a little bit, maybe slow down or speed up to get through it, let it become its own thing. You're just there making some marks, letting the sequence of edges, lines, surfaces form out the territory. Watching the hand move, observing the result of that action. Maybe at this point even remembering some of the actions along the way as you retrace steps of the drawing, retrace steps of the mind. Notice little decisions, perhaps a tightening or pinch along an interesting curve or a careful paralleling, things that you may have controlled before or the eye may have done for you, or that just happened. But they're there now, and we can notice, explore, emphasize, or move away. And there's plenty of space for more and more of these little interactions between edges and curves, between inside and outside, the concave and the convex coming together as shapes and space, kind of wiggle, squish, meander, contort, and interact. As we come to the end of the time of the exercise, you may continue to keep playing, keep drawing, keep exploring and mapping. But if you can find a place, perhaps, like me, you've run out of carvings or need to start new journeys, it's a chance to take it in, see where other opportunities are, let the eyes map the whole territory after the focus. Find that place to take a breath and let the pen or pencil come to a rest. Set the hands down somewhere when you're ready, whether you have a table in front of you, maybe your lap, maybe the armrest on a chair, but just let them sit down. Notice which way you place them, palm up or palm down. Feel into the palm for a few moments. The palm is down, you might feel the texture of the surface below, the pressure, the weight of the hand. The palm is up, you might feel the air moving across. Probably a little bit of perspiration there on one hand from holding the pen or pencil for a while, from moving around. And take a couple of deep breaths with that palm in mind. But the close noticing of the senses, the sensation of touch. Absorb and then dissipate with the breath. We can bring our minds close to all these little things, but then we can get lost in them, so they go back and forth. But noticing, interesting, a release, back to the world. And as you're ready, take a nice final Deep inhalation and gentle, relaxing exhalation. Let your eyes open to the world around you. The sense that'll override them all. So much information coming in. Take it in. Move everything a little bit and prepare to move on to the rest of your day. I like to make the small, quick little lines, the hatching and the giving of tone or texture or difference, a little shade there with a pen. One, because it brings some value to the drawing. You can play with the spacing, the orientation, the precision or wiggliness of all of it. But that exercise to the hand and working, you can feel when you start to lose focus, the mind or the eye, not quite keeping connection to the edges, the boundaries, the hand getting a little tired, working into some tension in the forearm and the fingers. And it helps to remind you to either engage, work through that tension, that tiredness, to re-establish the connection with the mind, or to relax, to take a breath, to step back for a moment, to notice that you are tired, that it's losing some control, and then re-engage when you're ready. And that's something we can learn from any exercise. When we're doing a practice, is to know the body, to know the mind, to know when it's present and focused and able to get the most out of the activity, and when it's drifting, losing its attention, and we need to take a little pause, a breath or two, or re-engage it, to bring ourselves back to it with those breaths, with those attention to the senses, to the instrument, to the action that's at hand. And we have that ability, but we have to build it up over time. So finding small practices, wherever they may be, breath, meditations, these drawing meditations, playing an instrument, a flute, anything that makes your mind-body connection a little bit more present for a little while. I hope you enjoyed the exercise. If you do, give it a thumbs up, share in the comments what you found through your own mindful act of drawing, and come back every week for new episodes of Mindful Drawing. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and draw well. Thank you.